Angelina Jolie was the daughter of Hollywood royalty, growing up in the California sun with dreams of movie stardom, walking Paris catwalks by the time she's in her teens. By her 20s, she's lighting up the silver screen.
What does stand out is Angelina's performance. People are really responding to her. She's poised to be the Meryl Streep of her generation.
Until a bizarre marriage and a mental breakdown threatened to derail the starlet's career and bring a quick end to her once blooming reputation.
Angelina Jolie's life for many years was a three-ring circus. The reason that she had to check into this institute for psychiatric reasons was because she was going a little bit crazy.
I'm in denial about ever having anything kind of mentally wrong with me. I think I'm sane.
To a celebrity, image is everything. But when that image is destroyed, can it be rebuilt?
She was considered crazy and unstable. And now she's one of the most sought-after, respected actresses out there.
You be the judge. Celebrity damage control. As a new generation of stars ascend to the top tier of Hollywood celebrity at the dawn of a millennium, few capture the attention of the movie-going public like the beautiful Angelina Jolie.
I think I've grown up more into a woman now, and maybe I was, still faltering in my 20s and trying to figure out what that meant. And my son certainly helped, but yeah, a lot of different experiences and going through things maybe, a little harder.
Angelina Jolie is gorgeous, but beyond that, she's a genuine talent. Her beauty may have opened up doors in Hollywood, but it's her talent as an actress and her humanitarian work that's made her a star.
The daughter of Hollywood legend and Oscar winner Jon Voight, Angelina refuses to allow her family connections to pave her way, changing her name and forging her own path.
Angelina Jolie was determined to make it in Hollywood through her own talent. The fact is that she detested her father, Jon Voight, and was going to show him that she could do it without his help.
But when her history of mental illness, combined with the deterioration of her relationship with her father and a strange marriage to Billy Bob Thornton, leads to a nervous breakdown, Angelina's skyrocketing career is thrown into jeopardy.
When Angelina Jolie seemed to be going off the rails, her reputation took a huge hit, and the only thing that was going to save it was some serious damage control.
June 4th, 1975. Angelina Jolie Voight is born in the City of Angels, the second child and first daughter of Hollywood star Jon Voight and actress and model Marshalline Bertrand.
Jon Voight exploded onto the Hollywood scene with movies like Midnight Cowboy and Deliverance. By the mid-70s, he was a huge star. Angelina was literally born into show business.
Before she is born, however, her parents' marriage is in trouble due to Voight's philandering. Within a year of her birth, her parents separate.
Let's face it, when it comes to marriages, they're tough to begin with. In the United States, we have a 50% divorce rate. Now, take that marriage and put it in Hollywood, where husband and wife or partner happen to be Hollywood stars. The pressure, the temptations, people catering to their inappropriate behaviors, and that is the perfect recipe for the disaster leading to divorce as far as a marriage in Hollywood.
In 1976, Voight leaves his wife to be with actress Stacy Pickren, a co-star from his hit Vietnam War film, Coming Home.
Coming Home may have won Jon Voight an Oscar, but it also may have cost him his family.
It became very clear in Jon Voight's marriage to Angelina Jolie's mother that his priority was making movies, getting his star to shine and to rise, and therefore gave less time to that marriage. Consequently, it fell apart. And when they separated, his relationship with his daughter Angelina Jolie became even much more strained because he claims that her mom would not allow him to visit. And at that point, Angelina really began to detest her father.
In 1982, when Angelina is just 7 years old, she's hired to star with her father in the box office bomb Looking to Get Out. Her big screen debut is small and appears near the end of the film.
When Angelina did the film with her father, this was pretty much the only time in her life that she ever spent any time with him. The problem was most of the time that they did spend together was on camera. They really didn't spend any time together off camera.
As her mother begins a serious relationship with filmmaker Bill Day, she relocates her family, including Angelina and Angelina's older brother James, across the country to New York City. 5 years later, in 1987, Angelina and her family return to Los Angeles. For Angelina, not quite a teenager, the return to LA begins a period of severe depression and alienation, leading her to seek her own creative expression. Just 12 years old, she enrolls in the prestigious Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute in Los Angeles to study the craft of acting. There, Angelina begins honing her skills that will one day make her a star, following in the steps of such alumni as Jane Fonda, Alec Baldwin, and even her own father.
Acting is in Angelina's genes. Even when she was just a teenager, it was pretty clear she had her sights set on Hollywood stardom.
Yet at 14, Angelina quits the Institute, convinced she lacks the life experience necessary to be a great actor. Instead, the catwalk seems more appealing, and she begins landing gigs as a professional model.
Modeling really isn't an easy job, but at the time, because she was training with some of Hollywood's best, it might have seemed easier than trying to compete with them and work on movies. Her mother was a model, so it was easy for her to break into that business. She knew where to go and she had connections. And what could be more fun than some teenager flying off to Milan or Paris for a photo shoot?
When Angelina isn't traveling the globe to appear in fashion shows, she returns to life as an average teen at famed Beverly Hills High. Despite her famous last name and fascinating part-time job, Angelina and her brother both have a hard time fitting in at the secondary school. Reportedly, Angelina is teased constantly for being skinny, wearing glasses, having braces, as well as big lips. But what she found most humiliating was being poor when all her classmates knew she had a celebrity father.
This was a school filled with the kids of the rich and famous, but Angelina and her brother were living with their mom, who had a more modest income. So she even said that they were the only kids who rolled up to school, but without their own car. In high school, she started feeling ostracized, started battling depression, which is something she would be up against for years.
As she's entering her teenage years, Angelina's grandfather passes away. She is so upset by how his funeral is conducted that she becomes fixated on becoming a funeral director. She also embraces the punk rock subculture and begins dating a punk rocker 2 years older than her. Angelina enjoys the freedom of expression she experiences in her new punk rock world, especially anger and turmoil. She also develops an obsession with knives and cutting herself.
Well, what we saw with Angelina Jolie was that she and her boyfriend at the time would cut themselves. In one way, they felt that it brought more intimacy, that they can do something that was so taboo, that was so intimate together, that was so strange together. But at the same time, it was a reinforcement for one another because both of them were suffering. Both of them had depression. And as we know with cutting, it's about bringing oneself back to a place of feeling yourself, of feeling life, of feeling alive, of focusing on who you are, because you are just so far out there regarding your depression. You're so disassociated from who you are as a person that the cutting brings you back.
At the same time as she begins experimenting with sex and self-harm, teenage Angelina also starts acting out in another way that's even more potentially damaging. She begins using hard drugs, including cocaine.
Angelina seems to be going through a deep depression, and the sex, the alcohol, the drugs, the cutting, they're all a way to try and ease her pain.
At age 16, Angelina completes her high school diploma and is able to leave the school that she has loathed for so many years. She devotes herself more fully to her modeling career and her persistent desire to act. Following a brief return to the Strasberg Institute, Angelina decides that a massive change is in order and returns on her own to New York City. Taking film classes at night school at New York University, Angelina juggles her education with both her modeling career and her first forays into professional acting. Her natural beauty and ease in front of the camera begins landing her roles in music videos for rockers such as the Lemonheads, Lenny Kravitz, and Meatloaf. But Angelina battles depression, continues using hard drugs, and now has suicidal thoughts. Yet her modeling career thrives. She even comes close to landing a deal to replace Cindy Crawford as the face of an international swimwear line. Ultimately, however, Angelina finds the agonizing demands of the fashion industry overwhelming and makes the painful decision to leave it behind.
Angelina was sick of being told to lose weight. She's gorgeous, she's young, she's healthy, but fashion can be brutal on young girls. So she was like, had enough, walked away.
Leaving the modeling world behind, Angelina finally feels prepared to return to Hollywood and take her first real shot at joining the family business and becoming a star. 18-year-old Angelina Jolie-Voigt, daughter of Midnight Cowboy star and Hollywood legend Jon Voight, is determined to make it in Hollywood without the help of her estranged father or his famous last name. Arriving back in Los Angeles after 2 years of modeling and studying filmmaking in New York, Angelina formulates a plan to escape the long shadow of her Oscar-winning father.
One of the first things she did when she returned to LA was drop the name Voight from her professional name, and she just became Angelina Jolie professionally. They had not gotten along in many years, and I think she wanted to prove to him that she could make it on her own without his last name, without his help, and she wanted to prove to him that she didn't need him at all in her life.
It's not long before Angelina lands her first film role, starring as a sexy cyborg who falls in love with a human in the sci-fi B-movie Cyborg 2: Glass Shadows.
The movie, which was straight to video, by the way, was a total bomb. Now it's remembered as the movie where a teenage Angelina takes her top off. Not exactly the big Hollywood debut she dreamed of.
Angelina was really upset when she saw the screening of this film. She actually went home and threw up and didn't do another audition for an entire year. She thought that was it. She was lousy. The movie was horrible. And she just didn't see that she had a future in the business.
Embarrassed by the film's dismal quality, and more so by its corresponding poor performance, Angelina once again falls into a deep depression, questioning whether she even wants to continue her film career.
In fact, she was contemplating suicide. She was planning on killing herself and went so far as to write a note, but she ended up not committing suicide because the sleeping pills she was planning on taking had been given to her by her mother, and she didn't want her mom to live with that guilt.
A lot of people question why Angelina would be so depressed. She's a beautiful woman, she's making films, she has a very famous dad, and yes, she had some real issues with her father, but what we need to look at is that she had a depression. And no matter all of the beautiful things that are around her or what we see that she has as far as wealth, what we need to focus on is how she feels. And she felt depressed, she felt numb, and a lot of that had to do, yes, perhaps with her dad, perhaps with her life, but more than anything else, she had a chemical imbalance, and that in some ways made everything that was bright very dark in her life.
Compounding her mental and emotional anguish is her continued reliance on hard drugs, such as cocaine and heroin.
Often drug use is a form of self-medication for mental illness, including depression. But what happens is you take the drugs, when they wear off, you feel worse, and it creates this vicious cycle where your depression and your substance abuse gets worse and worse.
After a year-long hiatus from acting, Angelina decides to push herself to seek out more challenging roles in bigger and better films. In 1995, she enjoys a breakthrough when she's cast as a tough-talking computer specialist in the teen action thriller Hackers.
When Hackers lands in theaters, the reviews are pretty terrible. But what does stand out is Angelina's performance. People are really responding to her. And that's the sign of a true star, someone who can stand out even in a crappy movie.
Though Hackers fails to make a splash at the box office, Angelina enjoys the positive response to her performance. And there is something else she's enjoying. While shooting, Angelina meets and falls in love with her co-star, British actor Johnny Lee Miller. A relative unknown in America, Miller is enjoying an upswing in his career that will soon garner him international acclaim for his role in the controversial Scottish hit Trainspotting, and eventually leads him to success as the star of a popular US TV series, Elementary. Shortly after the arrival of Hackers in theaters, Angelina finds herself the subject of tabloid scrutiny for the first time when she and Miller announced their surprise engagement. In March 1996, Angelina and Miller marry. Deliberately cultivating an image as a Hollywood outsider and wild girl, Angelina shares strange details of she and Miller's intimate wedding.
Angelina was such a wild child that when she married Miller, she actually wore black rubber pants and a t-shirt with his name written on her back in his blood. She had such an obsession with blood at the time. I don't think it was more that she wanted to play with blood than she wanted the shock value.
Despite or perhaps because of her notorious reputation, Angelina begins receiving more and more offers from Hollywood for edgy roles, playing rebellious young women. Smartly, Angelina seizes the opportunity to choose projects closer to her heart. In 1996, she stars in Foxfire, an independent film about a rebellious group of girls who exact revenge on a salacious schoolteacher. Based on a popular young adult novel, Foxfire attracts an audience of young women who begin to form the core of Angelina's fan base.
Foxfire's not a major hit, but once again, Angelina's performance is what everybody's talking about. Variety even likens her to a young James Dean. She's taking on these roles that portray women as really strong. You know, she's tough, she's ballsy, and it's really developing her persona as a really tough girl on screen.
Angelina maintains a demanding schedule by continuing to take on roles in low-budget independent films, such as Love Is All There Is and Mojave Moon. Though the films she's making aren't blockbusters, they allow her to develop a body of work that at least shows she's a serious actress, committed to honing her skills. But as her career begins to climb, the success comes with a price. Angelina and husband Johnny Lee Miller call it quits.
Angelina's marriage to Johnny Lee Miller was very short-lived. It lasted about a year, and the reality of that was that he wanted to stay in the UK and pursue his acting career where he was very famous, and she knew that she would continue to blossom as a well-known actress in the United States. And that old saying of absence makes the heart grow fonder is true, but too much absence makes the heart wander. And that's what happened with the two of them. They just went their separate ways.
It's not really clear who broke up with whom or why, but Angelina has said that she's always loved Johnny. He helped her through some of her addictions and at least, got her to reduce her drug use. At the end of the day, maybe they were just too young.
In 1997, Angelina takes on what may be her most demanding role yet, a main character in the historical TV miniseries George Wallace, playing the second wife of the controversial former governor of Alabama. Winning rave reviews for her performance, Angelina gets her first award season recognition as both the Emmys and the Golden Globes honor her star-making turn with Best Supporting Actress nominations and a win.
She did win the Golden Globe, and this was such a huge thing for her. This was the first sign that she had a career and her star was beginning to rise.
She's so much a woman and she's so bright. And because she was a real person, there was a lot to do. But I think also she was very different than a lot of young girls my age, and maybe me personally get stuck doing a lot of dark, kind of very basic, kind of negative characters who aren't very fun and colorful and womanly. And I got a chance to kind of show that I had an ability to do that, and that meant a lot to me. So.
Separated from her husband, Johnny Lee Miller, 22-year-old Angelina isn't shy about public displays of affection for her latest lover, as she embarks on a homosexual relationship with her Foxfire co-star, actress and model Jenny Shimizu.
Rumor has it that Angelina started seeing Jenny while she was still married to Johnny. Angelina has said that when she saw Jenny, she fell in love with her the second she saw her. The three of them would go out on the town, be seen together, which raised a few eyebrows even in Hollywood.
Angelina really didn't care if people thought she was a lesbian or bisexual. She was a very honest person, and she just did not want to conform to Hollywood and their standards and what they expected from her. Her relationship with Jenny was not just a fling for the shock value. This actually lasted a couple of years, and they did care about each other.
In 1997, Angelina finally finds the role that will catapult her to true stardom, signing on to star in the HBO biopic Gia as doomed 1980s fashion model Gia Karanji. Diving headfirst into the role, Angelina submerges herself in the character of the tragic beauty, cutting off communication with friends and family in order to isolate herself from the real world.
When Angelina took on the role of Gia, the fashion model who ended up contracting and dying of AIDS, this was the perfect role for her because it was a very dark role, a very depressing role. In many ways, in Angelina's mind, mirrored what she was going through in life. The isolation, the sadness, just feeling numb and feeling hopeless.
But will the role and its intensity make or break Angelina Jolie? By 1998, Angelina Jolie's star is on the rise, with Emmy and Golden Globe nominations and serious buzz as one of the hottest up-and-coming starlets in Tinseltown. But her oddball behavior and battles with mental illness aren't done yet, and will soon put her in dire need of some world-class damage control. When the HBO movie Gia premieres in January 1998, Angelina receives the biggest accolades of her young career and is once again nominated for both an Emmy and a Golden Globe, this time for Best Lead Actress.
Hollywood knows about her work. They're rewarding her for it. She's poised to be the Meryl Streep of her generation.
But Angelina is exhausted by the grueling work she did to prepare for her role in Gia, and by the intensive press attention her unconventional relationships are garnering. With her divorce from Johnny Lee Miller settled, Angelina makes the surprising decision to step away from the camera and returns to New York.
When you take into account the battles she's already had up until that point with depression, it's kind of a smart move. But without the work, without the set life to focus on, the depression comes back with a vengeance.
It's while in New York that Angelina devises a bizarre plan to kill herself in a manner that she hoped would make her suicide appear to be a murder.
According to Angelina herself, she even hired a professional hitman to kill her because she thought it would be easier on her family if someone else killed her instead of her committing suicide.
This shows an extreme sensitivity to others' pain, and maybe what prompted her humanitarian efforts later in her life.
Apparently, after locating a hitman, he told Angelina to wait a month to make sure she was certain and then contact him again.
She had a very benevolent hitman who somehow convinced her to go home and think about it. Apparently, she changed her mind.
Angelina claims that over that month, things changed in her life, and she was, quote, surviving again. Shortly after, Angelina gets good news. She has won the 1999 Golden Globe Award for Best Actress for Gia.
At first, I was really scared to play her because there's a lot of similarities, a lot of things that I didn't want to think about in my life, and I didn't, but it was so cathartic. It was so, it changed me completely and made me confront a lot of things and made me think differently about the way I should approach my life and people, and I appreciate everything so much more,
After claiming her prize, Angelina adds to her reputation as a wild child by leaping into the pool at the Beverly Hilton Hotel.
When she jumped in the pool, she just didn't understand what the big fuss was. She actually told somebody in an interview that what surprised her was everybody wasn't jumping in the pool. She was absolutely fearless and just didn't care what anybody thought of her.
Having returned to Hollywood, Angelina takes a role alongside Oscar winner Billy Bob Thornton in the air traffic controller drama Pushing 10. Although she's dating actor Timothy Hutton, she and Billy Bob soon begin an illicit affair off-set.
When she did Pushing 10, we start to get a little glimpse into Angelina and her regard for the institution of marriage. She got together with Billy Bob Thornton, who's 20 years older than her, but that's not the scandalous part. At the time, he was engaged.
As the millennium draws to a close, Angelina makes an on-screen return to the type of role with which she built her reputation, starring alongside fellow troubled soul Winona Ryder in the heart-wrenching drama Girl Interrupted.
This role allowed her to maintain the reputation of an actor who is brave enough to explore the deep, dark depths of the soul.
Playing a pair of young women hospitalized for mental disorders, both stars draw upon their own personal experiences with mental illness to create performances that resonate with audiences and stun critics. Angelina wins the 2000 Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actress.
This was very important to me, and it's so nice when you think it connected or that, people appreciate it, but But I'm kind of blown away by the other girls in the category, so I really genuinely would have been very happy if any one of them walked away with it.
Angelina's star has never shone brighter, and with every performance, it seems to rise even higher in the sky. But her secret romance with Billy Bob Thornton is about to land her back on the front page of the supermarket tabloids, turning her performance in the film into an all-too-real reflection of reality.
A couple of things that we're seeing with Angelina Jolie. Not only is she doing very, very well in the acting profession and taking on these roles, Gia, Girl Interrupted, and really shining because she identifies with these very troubled young women, but she's also gaining a reputation of being a very troubled young woman.
Appearing on the red carpet at the Academy Awards in March 2000, Angelina introduces the press to her date for the evening, her older brother James. Stunning reporters, Angelina kisses her brother on the lips, a smooch captured by the hundreds of photographers on hand to record every moment of the big event. Called to the stage later that evening as she wins her first Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, Angelina again raises eyebrows, proclaiming herself to be in love with her sibling.
Angelina's always had this reputation for being wild, a bit unstable, and kind of crazy, so when she planted that kiss on her brother, the media absolutely went wild. We're not used to seeing something so incestuous on camera, especially not in Hollywood from an A-list actor, and they took this to so many levels. When it was probably an innocent kiss, albeit a little bit more than most people would give their brother, I don't think they meant it to be that way and were surprised at the media storm it created.
Even though Angelina's life is going better than ever, all her dreams are being realized. She's got the critical acclaim, she's got the money, she's got everything she wants. Her life is about to take a very difficult turn.
Winning an Academy Award for her incredible and believable performance as a rebellious patient at a mental hospital, Angelina Jolie's reality is about to become uncomfortably similar to the roles that have made her famous. Starting with a strange and incestuous kiss she gives her brother on the red carpet at the Oscars.
So it was a little weird. It made everybody kind of go, okay. She'd always been close with her brother and they shared this kiss at the Oscars. This leads to a lot of tabloid speculation about the nature of their relationship. Obviously, this would be hurtful for anybody. But if you're gonna do that on the red carpet of the biggest night in Hollywood, I mean, what do you expect?
What becomes known as the incest kiss will haunt Angelina and her brother for a decade. Though she's been enjoying shocking the world with her antics, Angelina is finding this particular attention hurtful. This incident and the public's reaction wasn't intentional, and therefore she's not able to control things, as she has in the past. In an effort to mount damage control against the salacious rumors, Angelina appears as a guest on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, where she confronts the rumors head-on.
Angelina did come out and say that there's absolutely nothing inappropriate about her relationship with her brother. Her brother actually distanced himself from her at that point as to not hurt her reputation anymore. This is a girl who was a Hollywood wild child, but she was just beginning to make it. She just won an Oscar. She was looked at as beautiful again. People were flocking to her movies. This is not something she needed.
On top of that, Angelina's romance with Billy Bob Thornton, itself still a secret kept hidden from the press, and even more so from Thornton's fiancée, actress Laura Dern, begins causing the star increasing amounts of stress and anxiety. In April, just 4 weeks after her big Oscar win, Angelina checks herself into the UCLA Medical Center's Neuropsychiatric Institute, worried she's suffering a nervous breakdown.
Angelina later explained the reason that she had to check into this institute for psychiatric reasons was because she was going a little bit crazy. What was happening with her was she was so consumed by the idea of marrying Billy Bob Thornton and what if it didn't happen, or what if they didn't have a meeting of the minds, that she had what she called kind of a mini nervous breakdown.
Dealing with mental illness is an ongoing process, and it often requires management more than a cure.
Checking out of the hospital after only 3 days of treatment, Angelina and Billy Bob travel together to Las Vegas, where they tie the knot at the Little Church of the West Wedding Chapel on the Strip. Angelina is sporting a month-old tattoo of Billy Bob's name on her left shoulder.
The wedding came as a huge surprise, not only to the public, but to Angelina's and Billy Bob's families. Actually, Billy Bob's then fiance, Laura Dern, didn't even know that he was involved with her until after they got married. I think Laura Dern said something along the lines of, "I was away doing a movie and then my boyfriend got married and I came home and I found out." Ouch.
The impulsive wedding of the stars becomes the talk of Hollywood, with supermarket tabloids breathlessly reporting every eccentric detail of the unusual couple's shocking love affair, including that they are now carrying vials of each other's blood around their necks.
So when you look at damage control, spin, reputation repair, and then you look at this really fast secret wedding with Billy Bob Thornton that Laura Dern knew nothing about, nobody knew anything about, she just did it. Was that to take the cameras and the spotlight off of the incestuous kiss? Or was that just her being impulsive? Whatever it was, it worked because the spotlight went off of her and her brother's relationship and onto her and Billy Bob Thornton, their age difference, the blood vials, and all the weirdness that went with that entire wedding. It's one thing to be eccentric, it's another to be a man-stealing weirdo.
The reality is that Angelina Jolie's life for many years was a three-ring circus. So many things going on. Rumors about incest with her brother, issues with being just so overwhelmed and obsessed with Billy Bob Thornton. And let's not forget, this is a woman who would draw blood and carry blood of the person that she loved. So she wasn't the most sane person at the time.
I don't really have phobias. I think what did we call? We've discovered there is actually a symptom you have where you deny you ever have any symptoms. So whatever that is,
whatever that is, yeah, I do have that.
Yeah, I'm in denial about ever having anything kind of mentally wrong with me. I think I'm sane.
Though Angelina is portraying herself as in control of her craziness, it appears to be having a detrimental effect on the public's opinion of her. Q scores are a respected film industry standard for gauging the likability of celebrities, and Hollywood watches it closely. In 2000, only 31% of the public knows who Angelina Jolie is, and of those, only 14% like her. That same year, Angelina makes a decision that will completely change her life in more ways than one. After a career spent playing young women in trouble, she redefines herself overnight by starring as the adventurous heroine Lara Croft in the big screen adaptation of the hit video game Tomb Raider. The movie is released in 2001 and is a box office success.
Lara Croft Tomb Raider turned out to be a huge commercial success for Angelina. It also brought her a lot of personal success because now things kind of calmed down. With all the controversies that were out there, it showed that people were willing to look at her as being some sort of an action actress.
But what really impacts Angelina is that while shooting the picture in the formerly war-torn country of Cambodia, she is overcome with emotion at the plight of the country's children.
Oftentimes, when you have a very wild child, they are just looking for a purpose in life. Well, she found her purpose when she went to film Tomb Raider in Cambodia. That's where she saw the poverty and these children that were just suffering.
Angelina is so moved by her experiences in Cambodia that she lobbies for international assistance and becomes the UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador in 2001. And in 2002, she adopts a 7-month-old boy, Maddox, from Cambodia. For the time being, Angelina chooses to keep her adoption of Maddox private, as she devotes herself to her humanitarian work. Becoming the new face of Hollywood humanitarianism, a rift quickly develops between her and Thornton.
We know that Angelina says at one point they were in love, and then overnight they just didn't know who they were. And my psychological interpretation to this is that perhaps they never knew who they were and actually woke up to the reality that they were two strangers who got married perhaps for the wrong reasons, even though they did maintain some sort of a friendship. As well, rumor has it that Billy Bob Thornton was kind of cheating on her. And this young woman, Angelina Jolie, was not having a bit of it. So she supposedly sent him packing.
As Angelina's second marriage breaks down, she also breaks ties with another important man in her life, her father, after Voight criticizes his daughter's lifestyle. He also goes public with her adoption of Maddox, despite her express wishes to keep it confidential. Angelina feels her father is putting an adverse spin on something beautiful in her life.
John Voight coming out and dissing her about the adoption and speaking out about all of this in such a negative way, this guy was in no position to judge his daughter. Then when all of this happened, we start to see that maybe she does have a valid reason to not like him and not want to be part of his life.
To eradicate her past branding as being unstable, Angelina's choice of playing the strong Lara Croft and focusing on the world's plight rather than her own is a major step in damage control. But then in August of 2002, Voight takes a vicious swing at her reputation by telling Access Hollywood he believes Angelina has, quote, serious mental problems.
To her credit, Angelina handled it very well, responding publicly to his claims and defending her own mental health, but it also further eroded her already fragile relationship with him. I think she also knew that she would have to work very hard if she didn't want to spend the rest of her career, working against her father, saying that she was crazy.
Although her father's comments are hurtful, they also seem to empower Angelina. She is determined to change the public's opinion of her mental state with full-on damage control. She starts by divorcing Thornton in late 2002, and Angelina legally changes her last name from Voight to Jolie.
She's clearly looking for a fresh start, a new identity, and I think changing her name is a symbol of that independence, leaving her father and Billy Bob Thornton behind.
I think I've grown up more into a woman now, and maybe I was, still faltering in my 20s and trying to figure out what that meant. And my son certainly helped, but yeah, a lot of different experiences and going through things. Maybe, a little harder.
But she can finally leave her tattered reputation behind and prove once and for all that she's not the troubled soul the tabloids have made her out to be. Angelina Jolie has severed ties with two men she felt were detrimental to her, husband Billy Bob Thornton and her father, John Voight. Now it's time for some damage control.
People started to really respect her when she put her career aside to work on her obligations with the UN, being a goodwill ambassador, going into these countries and trying to improve life for all these poor children. She became an earth mother, almost, and you could see that she really meant this. This was not a PR ploy. This was her mission in life. This is what she was meant to do.
It's her ongoing work with the United Nations that truly appears to have captured Angelina's heart. But she does continue her film career with the hit sequel Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life in 2003.
Going into the second one, we changed her. I think if people see the second film, they'll see that she's grown up in some way and she's sexier in a different way and she's more of a woman. So I like her better now. I thought it was important that we introduced what she loved and what she cared about, and I think it was important to force her to make strong decisions in this one and see what she's really made of. I love that things are returned to the tribal peoples of the world, because I think there's a beautiful statement in that.
In October 2003, she's recognized as the first citizen of the world by the UN Correspondents Association for all of her work with refugees.
In January 2004, Angelina begins shooting the action comedy Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Hollywood heartthrob Brad Pitt. Despite his marriage to Friends star Jennifer Aniston, tabloids begin hinting that Brad and Angelina have begun secretly dating.
So when Angelina Jolie met Brad Pitt, even though Brad had been in a relationship with Jennifer Aniston, America's sweetheart, for 7 years, it looks like Brad Pitt just fell head over heels for Angelina Jolie. People saw that almost like a Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor pairing. The two fell for each other really hard.
When Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt got together, yes, there was another media storm. Surprisingly, though, everybody turned against Jennifer Aniston in this. At this point, it was Jennifer Aniston that just wasn't exciting enough. So when you go into publicity and damage control and branding and rebranding, you put together Angelina and Brad Pitt. We're talking an amazing power company, and the Brangelina brand is born, and it just takes off from there.
In January 2005, Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston announced their separation, filing for divorce in March. By April, paparazzi photos reveal that Brad is taken to joining Angelina on her global adventures, as the two are spotted traveling together in Kenya.
We had somebody who was working with us to go to the state hospitals and to see what they were missing and what might be useful. So we wanted it to be a practical donation that wasn't just an idea of money, but to understand what the doctors were needing or requesting, what the patients were missing. So I think with the different people we worked with and the local people here, we've been able to make some very practical decisions and do some very substantial things.
That same year, Angelina adopts Zahara from Ethiopia, followed by Pax in 2007 from Vietnam. In the years since, not only has Angelina continued to enjoy incredible success as one of the most popular stars of the 21st century, but her actions in life seem to influence and impact others.
She's even been very candid about some of her personal health issues. When she willingly underwent a double mastectomy because she has a gene that makes her more susceptible to cancer, she wrote an op-ed in the New York Times. Because of Angelina, medical professionals are saying that women in the US are going out being more proactive about their health, getting tested, getting genetic testing, and this has even spread globally. Very few stars have managed to have the ongoing success that Angelina has maintained. It really doesn't matter what movie she's doing, whether it's a Tomb Raider movie or a Disney movie like Maleficent. You know, she continues to make a lot of films that keeps her as one of the most popular stars in Hollywood.
Angelina is also getting accolades for her film directing, especially for her acclaimed 2014 Second World War drama, Unbroken. More important to Angelina than her film career has been her consistent devotion to her humanitarian work with the United Nations, along with her large, sprawling family of multicultural children, whom she parents with Brad Pitt. And in 2014, Brad says "I do" to becoming husband number 3.
Angelina Jolie, by having this multiracial family, adopting children from around the globe, really does show us that she is in need of family. Family is everything to her. And that family is now complete by marrying Brad Pitt. This is a man who not only adores his wife, Angelina Jolie, but also understands her, can deal with her moods, can deal with whatever her weaknesses or mental issues are. He totally gets her, and this is a pairing that I think we all realize that was meant to be. They are a perfect complement for one another.
Brad and her's star power is so huge that if you are doing a news story, an entertainment news story, and you have footage of them, that is what you lead with. That's the first shot you use, and you just keep repeating it over and over again. You know that's what people are gonna wanna see.
With Angelina Jolie, when we're talking about damage control and PR and spin and image and all of that, it's very interesting to see that she has come out so far ahead of where she was. She was considered crazy and unstable. And now she's one of the most sought after, respected actresses out there. She's positioned herself to where the best thing she does is stay out of the public eye. She doesn't need to go after press. It comes after her, and she picks and chooses what she wants to do. This woman, maybe in spite of herself, handled everything brilliantly.